Hello and Happy New Year to the EPA community. My name's Tom, I'm the Projects Manager at the EPA, and I will be providing the first monthly updates about projects in 2021. Before I deep dive into the 6 industry projects at the EPA, I wanted to highlight some of the ongoing research that is currently underway here at the EPA in an effort to inspire some of our members to reach out to us and get involved. Firstly, as part of Project Inclusion, we are currently running an initiative on affordable credit, and we'll be producing a report which hopefully provides a guide to all the providers out there who are offering affordable credit at a really important time, just after the Christmas break, when people are turning to credit providers. And we're publishing that at the end of next month. So if you'd like to get involved, please do reach out. As well as that, and as part of Project Banking Access, we are putting together the second iteration of our guide to payment account providers. So we will be speaking to banks and non-bank payment service providers and asking them to provide some information on the sort of accounts they offer, the payments they support, their risk appetite, and so on. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then again, please do reach out. And last but not least, in partnership with Chargebacks 911, we will be looking into consumer fraud and double refunds, which we think is a really important issue to talk about. So we are putting together a series of interviews, and a report on that will follow around the time of Pay 360, so March, April time. As well as that, as more of a general update, from next month, I'll be sharing the spotlight with some of our project leads. So you will get to hear from the project leads of all 6 of our industry projects and hear what they have to say about what we're doing and what our objectives are for 2021. Firstly, in terms of project inclusion, the team are about halfway through its affordable credit initiative. This initiative has involved a few project members, interviewing stakeholders from across the industry, and getting their insight into what affordable credit is and what it means and the current landscape at the moment. There's been some really interesting conversations around how consumers are currently turning to short-term credit sources. And we want to really try and spotlight in our upcoming report all the organisations, whether that's banks, fintechs, or credit unions, who are doing their bit to provide affordable credit and education around this topic. As well as that, the project team have been discussing its plans for 2021, and we are looking a bit further into lifestyle banks and how sometimes traditional financial services and products don't cater to the needs of some groups in society. New lifestyle banks are offering things like sustainable and ethical investing, whether they could also offer faith-affirming banking products, and this means that they are therefore including a wider range of society, and that's something we want to explore a lot further, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of interesting use cases and conversations to come around this area later in the year. For the Project Financial Crime team, digital identity remains high on the agenda. Following positive developments in the UK, the team will be looking into creating a monthly newsletter to provide updates in the space, and also we're doing this hopefully in collaboration with EPA EU and EPA Asia to provide a global perspective on digital identity. As well as this, the Project Financial Crime team will be discussing the upcoming report in partnership with Chargebacks 911 on double refunds, and this is where a consumer initiates a chargeback as well as a refund over a disputed transaction. As well as this, the Project Financial Crime team really want to make clear that they have been discussing the recent survey by the FCA on compliance of firms in the payments industry, which highlighted that lots of firms still have ineffective and lackluster AML and customer risk assessments and compliance monitoring programs. It's really a key issue for a lot of small and medium-sized firms. And the team wanted to point out that we have created a couple of potentially very helpful documents for these firms within the EPA membership. We created a risk assessment guidance document in partnership with Phil Creed of FSCom early in 2020. As well as that, we created a guide to digital identity and authentication in partnership with Steve Panifer of Consult Hyperion, J&G of Comply Global, as well as the guys of Refinitiv and Jonathan Jensen of GBG. So really, really helpful guide, which we think could provide some really helpful insight for members who might be struggling with compliance and risk assessments. You can find all of these documents on the Project Financial Crime project page on the EPA website. So I would really, really implore you guys to have a look. At the first Project International Trade meeting of 2021, which will be happening later this month, the team are looking forward to discussing the progress made by EPA Asia's Cross-Border Payments Initiative. This is a really exciting initiative which is in partnership with the International Institute of Finance and makes use of the EPA's global network to bring private sector companies together to consult on G20's rather ambitious roadmap of enhancing cross-border payments. Some EPA members will be feeding back from this initiative into the Project International Trade team, so we're really looking forward to hearing back from them. As well as that, in April it will be 6 months since the EPA's first ever virtual FinTech trade mission. So in April, we are going to be thinking about how we can bring together some of the delegates and the partners who participated in the trade mission and get them together and find out how they've been doing since the trade mission happened in October. As always, if you would like to get involved in Project International Trade, a really important project in this post-Brexit era, then please do reach out to myself. The Project Banking Access team are currently meeting on a weekly basis to further an important bit of research for an upcoming report, an upcoming EPA report. This report will be the second iteration of the EPA's Guide to Payment Account Providers. And the whole point of this report is to champion transparency and the increased open access to bank accounts. The team will be putting together a questionnaire and going to up to 20 banks and non-bank PSPs and asking them what sort of payments they support, what accounts they offer, and what their risk appetite is like. Following this, we're going to collate all of this information and put together an objective summary of these 20 banks and NB PSPs. It's a really exciting project, and if you'd like to get involved, please do reach out. And I'd also like to welcome Luke Irian of Morwand and Jenny Himberg of Barclays, who have recently joined the Project Banking Access team. Project Open Banking held the second in a series of bilateral open banking workshops with UK Finance earlier this month. This second workshop was a really unique and interesting opportunity for some EPA members to come forward and demonstrate their use cases for open banking to UK Finance, as well as hearing about UK Finance's open banking blueprint for the UK in 2021. Looking ahead, the Project Open Banking team will be thinking about how to establish and present some of these open banking use cases to the wider EPA membership in an effort to further increase adoption and awareness of open banking in the UK. Last but not least, the Project Regulator team have been discussing an ongoing consultation put out by Treasury, which details the proposed insolvency changes for PIs and EMIs, as well as some draft regulations for a new special administration regime. The EPA thought it would be really important to submit a response to this consultation, and a submission which has been led by Robert Courtneidge will be sent to Treasury ahead of the Thursday deadline. You can request a copy of this consultation response if you wish in this Insights newsletter, and it will be hosted on the EPA website very soon. The response hopefully incorporates the wide variety of perspectives of the EPA membership and provides some really clear recommendations to Treasury in their approach to these new regulations. As well as that, the project team have been looking ahead to 2021, and we will be discussing how to create an international glossary of payments terms. And hopefully this glossary will come in handy for EPA members who are navigating the payments industry with all its acronyms and new terms.